Hello, guys, and welcome back to Married at First Sight Australia. And today we are going to be talking through the next four weddings. So, in the previous episode, we had a look at Sarah and Tim, and then we also had a look at Cassandra and Tristan. But in this episode, we are going to be taking a look at the weddings of Lucinda and Timothy, Jack and Tori, Jaden and Eden, and who on earth were the last one? Natalie and I don't remember his name. Cat Collins? Collins, I think was his name. It was a surname, and I was like, huh? And then he was like, no, this is my first name. I was like, okay. But yeah, interesting. Lots of juicy things to talk about. I have taken a little bit of a break from Married at First Sight Australia, but I'm ready to jump on the bandwagon because I have heard this season gets juicy. There is arguments, there is explosive betrayals, and honestly, kind of excited to get into it. I won't lie. It's gonna be fun and it's gonna be entertaining, and I'm very excited. So guys, before we get into the actual episode, make sure we're liking, commenting and subscribing. If you guys are enjoying it, make sure you're commenting down below. If you want to watch it in the UK, it is on E4, and it's also on All 4 catch up. I think there's about 17 episodes out. I'm only on like episode 3-4, so we've got catch up to do, but I'm probably going to be condensing a lot into multiple episodes just because there probably isn't going to be that much to talk about in some episodes. But on the whole, it is a really good show, and you guys should be watching along, especially now that Big Brother's finished. What are you going to do with all your time? This is what I'm doing with my time. So yeah, we're on the road to 1,000. We're on the road to 800. Technically, that's our first milestone before we get to 1,000. But we're going to get there. You guys are doing fantastic, and honestly, big love to everyone. Let's keep growing. So, it's time to talk about Lucinda and Timothy. And Lucinda and Timothy are two people that I think are fantastic human beings, but two people that I don't think are necessarily well matched together. I think there's a lot of problems from the outset, and I think there's going to be a lot of problems to overcome. So, first of all, Timothy spoke at length about his father passing merely 6 weeks ago. He said that he lost his mother and his brother years ago, within like a year of each other, and that was crazy. And then his dad passed away 6 weeks ago, so he's going to have no family at his wedding. Immediately, I was like, this poor man, this man is breaking my heart telling me this, because what do you mean? That's genuinely so heartbreaking. Meanwhile, Lucinda is also telling us some sort of deep, meaningful stuff, and she's saying that she, at her age, has sort of come to peace with the fact she won't have children. She's grieved the fact that she will never have a child, and again, breaks my heart. Oh my goodness. Why have you got to start out with such like heartbreaking things? Because these two are going to be the best of friends. They're going to support each other so well. But I just don't think there's going to be a romantic connection, because Timothy hates meditating. He hates all of that spiritual stuff. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. This wedding was actually billed as the most chaotic, crazy one in MAFS history. It kind of was. It kind of was entertaining. Her dress was something else. It was it wasn't great. I didn't like it personally. I think some wedding dresses look stunning, and some wedding dresses look really bad. And yeah, this was not a great one. Did she look great in it? Yes. Was it a great dress? No. But yeah, once they got to the altar, Lucinda was like, yo, before we get this started, let me do it in Australian. Before we get this started, I just want to say I've brought my spiritual healer here, and we're going to do a little spiritual cleansing before we actually get into the wedding. It's something I want to do to pass on good energy to you. And I was like, oh, he's going to have none of this. Oh no. oh no. And like in his confessionals, he was like, I don't know what's going on, but this man is a trooper. He did it. He got over it. And then, almost as if it was pathetic fallacy, if you remember that from English, a storm happened and it was chaotic. Someone was going into labour. There were goats, I think. It was just crazy is what it was. That's the only way I can describe it. It was just a bit mental. And I gotta say, they went out a little bit later and their vows were actually really, really lovely. And it did make me feel that maybe this would be a good match. But then at the reception, things just started taking a weird turn because the spiritual healer was talking to Timothy and was like, oh yeah, I have magpie wings and a crow in the freezer. I think that was a direct quote because I've written it down in my book. What? because I think the whole thing was that during the spiritual healing he was getting slapped by like a chicken wing or something. It was so weird. It was so strange for no apparent reason. And then when he was talking about he got up and did his own speech and he was talking about the fact that his family isn't here, and once again my heart just broke because I was like, this poor man deserves the world. And I thought things did end quite well there. They weren't the best, but like I can see that they could potentially be a good match. I think Timothy just needs to just be a bit more accepting of the whole spiritual side. And then I think Lucinda just needs to breathe and take 10. Do you know what I mean? She's up here and we need her like here. They're just a little bit of an energy imbalance at the moment. And I think that could do more harm than good, unfortunately. So, our second couple that we're going to be talking about in this episode is Jack and Tori. And I gotta say, this is going to be a toxic couple, I feel. I feel like this is going to be a bumpy road for them. It's not going to be a fun journey, I don't think. My initial impressions were Jack seems very chill, but he likes submissive people. But I've written he likes submissive people, but also confident people. So I think he likes someone that knows what they want, but also likes them to be submissive, which is kind of opposing ideologies, but okay, we'll go with it. Whereas Tori, if you remember from my previous episode on Married at First Sight, she was the one that was like, I know exactly what I want. I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. They're both very much control freaks. And I think Jack really wants someone he can lead, and Tori doesn't really want to be led. She's an independent woman. She is Destiny's Child. So yeah, it was just a bit awkward. No, it was in fact, the wedding itself was really, really good. It was at the reception that things started to get a little bit awkward and a little bit uncomfortable. Everybody at the wedding, or most, like I would say 95% of the people on his side at the wedding were his clients from work. And that's really odd. That was really strange. One of the friends started bringing up, like, where are his actual friends? Where are his long-time connections? Where are the people he's made bonds with over many years? Because everybody they were speaking to was like, oh yeah, I'm a client of his. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't be inviting them to my wedding. That feels really weird. Unless I needed to bulk it out, I wouldn't be inviting them. So, what's going on here? Because now I'm thinking, is Jack actually a very toxic person and he can't keep people around in his life where there isn't some kind of monetary value involved? It's an interesting conundrum. It's an interesting question to pose because it really doesn't have a satisfying answer at the moment. The best friend was bringing up the lack of friend and the fact he's guarded about it. Yep, I mentioned that earlier. It's just, he just feels awkward. Like, yeah, he seems so confident and suave, but yet there's just a real awkwardness around the fact that nobody at this wedding has a genuine connection with him on like a friendship level. They're all his clients from his work, which is just odd. And then Leah, who I think was the friend, was bringing up the fact that she thinks he might be misogynistic. Just some of the subtle things he was saying and doing just gave her alarm bells, and she's warned Tori to be careful of him. But Tori is very much into this guy. She very, very much does like this guy. But this guy is saying, yo, there's actually no sparks with this girl at the moment. I'm not seeing any sparks. It's not making me want to rip her clothes off and get into bed with her. And I think, really? Because she's a very attractive girl. She is very attractive. Why would you not want to do that? Is that not a done deal from the start? Like, I always think, and this is the same thing with, like, Love Island. If you look at someone and you don't want to, like, you don't feel that physical connection to them, you can force a you can grow a romantic connection, but you can't force a physical connection. So I don't know, is this played out? Is this done from the get-go? Like, I really don't know what's happening, but I'm very interested to find out, I gotta say. So, very quickly before we get into the next two couples, I've just got to talk about how the fact that one of the experts had to go see Michael, you know, the gay guy who was at the hen do, and be like, yo, your match has dipped, by the way. He's not part of the experiment anymore. He sent us an email being like, yo, I don't want to do it anymore. And unfortunately, that means we don't have anybody as a match for you. But don't give up hope, because we are looking for someone, and we are going to find you someone. Don't you worry. We're committed to doing that. So it was actually a really, really sad moment, I thought. It was something that I didn't expect to happen to him. But I think it'll be interesting when he comes back and sort of has that sort of connection with someone. I just want the world for him, because he's so cute and he's so sweet. It's tough sometimes, it really is. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. Unfortunately, Michael, you're not part of the process at this moment. But that means we have to move on to people who are, and that is Natalie and Collins. On paper, Natalie and Collins are very much a good match. And it started off so well. So well. She's a nurse, and she's been looking after her dad, and she's very much into dorky people. She likes video games. She likes all of that kind of stuff. Her dad, unfortunately, passed a few weeks back, or a few months, I can't remember. But it's clear that she is looking for someone to be a light in her life, to bring her joy and happiness. Collins is a trivia host, and he seems really, really fun. I think he is a good match for her. He couldn't get out of the car. He just couldn't open the door. It was really funny. And then Natalie was she stacked it 3 times walking to the wedding. Don't ask me why they were in a feckin' field. I was the entire time I was like, oh my god, her shoes are going to be muddy. Her dress is going to be muddy. This is not good. Why have they allowed her to do this? To walk through a field that's muddy, very, very clearly muddy. And then she had to be carried because she almost twisted her ankle. Oh my god. Yeah, it was just one calamity after another. And it really did just make me think, wow, they are actually really good together. They got on like a house on fire. When I tell you, I think they mentioned their favourite football team, and it was the same, and they were like, rah, this is so cool. And then there was a speedboat that went past and catcalled her, and it was a bit awkward, but it was also quite funny. But like, I didn't understand, I just could not get over the fact that they were so well matched. This is what I mean by, like, sometimes the show does really, really well with their matches, and then sometimes they just fuck up. They're just like, oh, who do we have left over? Oh, this person. Let's just put them together and see what happens. Yeah, House on Fire, absolutely incredible. But immediately when he gets to the reception, he's starting to feel like they are not compatible on an energy level. He feels like she's got too much energy. He is also the worst person at answering questions. The worst person ever. The producer will be like, oh, so what do you think of her? And he'll be like, well, there's an old tale back in the day that says this, this, and this, and I really think that that's applicable to my situation, and I have a feeling that although things are good at the moment, things may be better in the future. And he just says a lot of buzzwords. He's the biggest buzzword man I've known. Like when they were asking like, oh, what do you want from a partner? He was like, oh, well, it doesn't matter what I want from a partner as long as she's happy. It was just buzzwords. He wasn't actually ever giving an opinion on something. He just always diverted the conversation away so we didn't have to talk about what he was thinking. And it did just make me feel really uncomfortable and a little bit weirded out. I was like, why are you doing this? This is really odd behavior from you. It's not okay. So there was that. And then once the wedding was over, she gave him like half of like, she gave him a necklace that was like half of a controller that then clips together. She's not fighting the allegations, first of all, of being like too much. But I think this would have been a cute thing to give him on the honeymoon, maybe. Not on your wedding night. You've just met the guy and you're already giving him a matching necklace. I just feel like it is a bit much. Is it really cute? Yes. Would I absolutely love that with someone that I was in love with? Yes. But I don't think they're in love yet. And I think that's the problem currently. Oh, yeah, a bit of a tough one there. And then he was asked, oh, do you, like, by the producer, do you want to share a bed with her tonight? And he was like, yeah. Well, and then just went off on like a massive tangent. And then the producer was like, so do you want to share a bed with her or not? And it was like, oh God, it's so awkward. How, at your big age of 28, are you not able to answer simple questions like that? Just a yes or a no. You didn't end up sleeping with her on the first night anyway. You slept in a separate bed. So what was so hard about saying, no, I think I need to take this slow? And he said that to her the next day. He was like, I think I need to take this slow. And she did have a little cry afterwards, which was really gutting. But I don't know. They started out so compatible and now they're just not. And it kind of sucks. So up next we have Jaden and Eden. Another good match, I think. Another good match. I think they're going to grow together. They're going to be great. He seems very different to what his sort of exterior poses. He says he's very much like got a hard exterior, but he's very soft inside. He loves a cuddle. And he's also apparently Mitch's brother from season 9 of MAFS Australia. I didn't watch it. I don't know who this guy is, but he got a lot of screen time, and I was a bit like, why? But anyway, it is what it is. Not really much we can say about that. She, Eden, is a dog person. We saw her get a puppuccino for her golden retriever. I do love a golden retriever, to be fair. But it was just a bit weird. And then she was like, oh yeah, I got cheated on by, like, my boyfriend cheated on me with my best friend of, like, my whole life. I was like, raw. People just actually don't care. People don't care about friendships when it comes to dick. What do you mean? That's crazy. Yeah, that's absolutely wild. That could not happen to me. That could not happen to me. I think there's definitely an initial attraction between the two. I think they've definitely got a spark. They definitely got a connection. But he is so insecure that he already thinks she hates him. And he spent the rest of the day just feeling very anxious about it, and rather than actually enjoying his wedding day. And I just felt gutted for him because he seems like he has so much heart and he's willing to give so much heart. But Eden wasn't being all over him. I don't think that's her personality. She had a bit of a poker face at times, but like, we saw in her interviews that she was like, yeah, I do find him attractive. I do like him. And I think he was just really worried about that. They actually did have a conversation a little bit later on, and he was like, look, I feel like you're not attracted to me. And she went, oh my God, no, you're amazing. I love you. Well, she didn't say I love you, obviously. But she was like, I really, really do find you attractive. Don't worry. I think you're great, etc., etc., etc. So I think it is a conversation that is going to is a relationship that's going to go well. He opened up to her. She reassured him. That's a good start. That's a very, very good start. He was honest with her. She was honest back. And that is just the foundations of a great relationship. So that's pretty much all we've got for today. We've got through 4 different weddings. We've got another couple next time, plus all the honeymoon drama. So make sure you stick around for that. We're very, very fast approaching the first dinner party, which is going to be crazy. And then the first commitment ceremony. Yeesh. But I know this series is going to be absolutely phenomenal. So make sure you stick around to watch it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff that you guys do so well. And I will see you guys in the next episode, whenever that may be. Until then, keep on ranting. I will see you later. Bye now.